Okay. Okay, thank you. So, good morning for everyone. And my paper is Architecture of Industrial Heritage Conversion. So, what is industrial heritage? Industrial heritage is an internationally recognized social cultural category. It is the tangible evidence of the profound civilization changes that industrial production has stimulated and shaped. The term industrial heritage encompasses a wide range of products and documents of human activity from the industrial era, which is from the last third of the 18th century. These were created because of fundamental technological changes in production and distribution, absorbing advances in knowledge, technical and scientific innovations. The series of scientific and technological innovations for the development of production continues to this day, so that the scope of international heritage is gradually expanding. Definition according to Czechia, the architecture of industrial heritage itself is outer envelope of the spaces in which industrial production processes take place. At the same time, it is the result of significant innovations in the production of building materials and technological units. These have made it possible to create spaces of above standard dimensions, high load bearing capacity, and long-term durability, so that the production process can take place in them for a long time with minimal maintenance requirement. The architecture of industrial heritage always respects the needs of production in terms of dimensions, organization of spaces, in correlation with the sequence of production processes and their technical requirements. Therefore, it often contains extraordinary technical solutions and individualized architecture expressions. Even though production in industrial building and areas has stopped, even though technological lines have been dismantled and taken away, the surviving architecture of former industrial plants still contains qualities that can be used as value potential for other new use. The scale of the architectural statement of industrial heritage is wide and usually very comprehensive. Industrial production areas were still accessible only to authorized persons, employers. The ordinary visitor rarely identifies the exceptional values that this group of heritage objects in cities contains and offers for future use. Therefore, it is necessary to clearly name and explicitly express the contained values. Okay. The textile industry working group of the International Committee for the Conservation of Industrial Heritage has developed an inspiring way of interpreting the qualities of industrial heritage. It contains 7 categories that figuratively and in generally understandable They express the contribution to the development of civilization. They are pioneers, flagships, giants, cities of international exchanges, time capsule, urban achievement, industrial landscape. The naming of individual categories is metaphorical. It is understandable even to non-experts. At the same time, it expresses the nature of the contribution to the development of civilization and progress. They can also be used to assess the qualities of monuments at the local or national level or in the preparation of revitalization processes. The operational complex of industrial architecture is always individually conditioned by the functions and location. Many monofunctional technological objects of the so-called heavy industry are not adaptable to other uses, e.g. rotary kilns of cement plants, blast furnaces of steelworks, etc. In selected cases, they can serve as a museum, as a documentation element. Variable hall spaces with a free layout of the so-called light industry allow for a quick change of production technology, production processes, or even a change of use for non-production purposes, such as a commercial, cultural, selected sport, residential, and etc. What is conversion? Conversion can be partial, e.g. modernization of partial technological processes, expansion of production, or can be comprehensive. This is when, because of technological process innovations, outdated processes are abandoned and stopped, and their original premises are transformed for other purposes. Usually, conversion causes changes to the original structure of the premises, including in its external appearance. The conversion intervention scale levels are also several. If an operating historical production unit is declared as a monument, this is the most appropriate preserve it prepares all its technical and cultural values. However, public access to it will be limited for the reason of safety of the operation and visitors. Adaptation without fundamentally changing the original structure and appearance is the optimal way to further utilize industrial heritage. Large-scale hall and multi-story buildings of former light industry are very suitable for this, e.g. Architecture of Baťa. Redesigning the original structure for a new use while acknowledging the original elements is an acceptable method of conversion. This also includes the presentation and transformation of disappearing traces of industrial history into new development function, especially cultural and educational purposes, tourist attractions. It is especially if large, clearly legible objects of industrial heritage have already disappeared, e.g. the history of the Coburg iron production in Horehronie region in Slovakia. The case of removal and replacement with a new structure goes beyond the boundaries of industrial heritage conversion. It is a culturally unacceptable step of removing traces of civilization progress. Unfortunately, it is quite common in the life. The architecture of industrial heritage generally allows for further use for various purposes. Compared to other typological types of cultural heritage, former industrial buildings and sites provide good conditions, especially for events with sudden mass attendance. Preventive knowledge of its value and usable potential, together with constructive cooperation of relevant institutions and stakeholders, are very important for a successful outcome. For example, power plant in Piešťany. It will be spoken later, so we can go. The spinning mill 1900s is a converted part of a former fruit factory in Bratislava. Today, it has a new use as a mix of commercial services with good public accessibility. Originally, the exhibition hall of the 1930s trade fairs complex on the Danube embankment in Bratislava was transformed into the Park of Culture and Leisure in the 1950s. The complex provided spaces for a large capacity hall for cultural and congress events, a sport hall for volleyball, and spaces for hobby groups. This inspiring conversion with functions very popular with Bratislava's residents and visitors in a lucrative location in the city didn't withstand the predatory attacks of the developers. The complex was completely removed and replaced by a megalomaniac residential commercial project. Excuse me a moment. The participants of the meeting in Le Creusot in France in 1976 pointed out in the final memorandum that dormant industrial operations contain values that are difficult to perceive using classical criteria of monument care, but it is nevertheless important to protect them. Since the beginning of the 1980s, this issue has also resonated among experts in Slovakia. The result is several high-quality implementation, which is the Mining Museum in Nature in Banská Štiavnica. We have heard Transport Museum in Bratislava, the museum exhibition in Solivar, the transformation of the former Stein Brewery malt house into a large capacity brewery. The museum from that period are still active, well visited, and highly rated by the experts. Unfortunately, the brewery in the old malt house didn't survive the privatization processes and the end of the last century. The initiative of cities is rarely functional. Preventive cooperation between the affected institutions and monuments authorities is often weak. As a result, the valuable industrial cities are irreparably removed. In this picture here, they are a good example of such cooperation. The positive realization are largely the result of a positive investor approach. It turns out that the most effective thing it is to support and present positive The Design Factory Civic Association in Bratislava is a group of enthusiasts for whom the topic of converting industrial spaces into functional buildings has been on the agenda since their inception in 2005. In addition to several interesting, inspiring, and iconic events in the interest of mapping, promoting, and making industrial heritage more visible, they initiated the Icona Industrial Conversion Award for implementers of high quality conversion of industrial heritage. The following article will discuss this and the activities in this field. Thank you for your attention. Preparing this article, we approached ladies who lead conversion activities in the region of Horehronie. This is the upper part of River Hon Valley, to make the forgotten industrial history of this region more visible and presentable. Please, Veronika and Jarka, you can continue.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to speak and take a part in this discussion. Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. I'm a member of the NGO Coworks in Slovakia, and together with my colleagues and other key stakeholders, we strive to highlight iron history of our Horehronie region. This industry brought significant benefits to the area and was established as a private initiative by the Kohari and Coburg aristocratic families. Production continued here for over 100 years until 1933. The region, while surrounded by nature, once housed a network of 7 sites, forming an ironworking complex. At that time of their establishment, these sites represented a major step in urban development. However, more than a century after production ceased, most manufactural structures have disappeared. What remains are non-manufactural buildings like workers' housing, administrative offices whose industrial significance is not immediately evident to the public. Can you bring the slides back, please, to this Coburg iron road? Please, back. Through our project, the Coburg Iron Way, we are reconnecting these historical sites and revitalizing them through cultural, educational, and tourism activities. One of our key achievements so far has been the restoration of historic park at the Coburg Manor in Pohrelská Maša, the heart of this this industrial complex. For the past 100 years, the park had fallen into neglect. Its renewal was made possible by clear ownership relations and strong partnership, leveraging current funding opportunities focused on nature conservation and biodiversity. This initiative has been taken up by the Development Agency of Banska Bystrica self-governing region. The project, set for completion in 2026, will serve as the first milestone along the cultural route. Although this park itself is not a technical monument, it is like associated associated object or heritage site. It provides an ideal starting point for promoting the surrounding industrial heritage sites and monuments that have yet to receive funding to restoration. So thank you for the attention.